We talked a little bit yesterday about the truth value of a statement. Today, big thing we're going to talk about, the first truth value would be whether a statement is true or what? False. Okay? Probably didn't need me to tell you that one, did he? Okay. What we're going to talk about today compound statements. Okay, thank you. Compound statements. And what we're going to do is we're going to combine statements. We're going to combine statements using either and or and or. When you put the word and in between two statements, what are you saying? For instance, let me say this statement to you. If I said to you, you have to clean the kitchen and take out the trash before you go to the movies. I know I heard those kind of statements when I was a kid growing up. I always had to take out the trash and clean the kitchen. Kind of my jobs. But if I say the word and in between those, and once again I said, if you clean the kitchen and take out the trash, you can go to the movies. If I just take out the trash, am I going to the movies? Huh? No. If I just clean the kitchen, am I going to the movies? What has to happen with the word and? What do you think that means? That I have to do what? Yeah. Well, so we could say maybe here, both have to be true for the statement to be true. Does that make sense? That's what basically the word and means. If you say and, then you expect both to happen, don't you? Now, what about the same statement? If you take out the trash or clean the kitchen, you can go to the movies. Now, if I took out the trash, can I go to the movies? How about if I just clean the kitchen, can I go to the movies? With or, only what? One has to be true for the whole statement to be true. And that's just, I'm just trying to think of I don't know, something I can relate to in everyday life that maybe I mean, I probably didn't have to tell you this, but the point I'm making is that in geometry, the and the or means, in essence, the same thing. Now, one thing you'll see a sign for and that's this right here. That means and as well. You know what means or? You. For some reason, it's become a triangle. In my days, it was a U or a there was more of a circle to it, but anyway. Okay? It's kind of shorthand for it. So this means what? Or this means what? Okay. Something using the word and is called a conjunction. It uses what? And. Something that uses the word or is called a disjunction. What do you think of the word conjunction meaning? A conjunction of things. You did what? You combined them? Disjunction means kind of they're separate, right? If you think about it, if you need some sort of kind of word association, a way to remember one from the other, disjunction, you only have to do one in this, don't you? One of the two. So they're kind of independent or disjunction from each other. Conjunction, you have to do both, right? So they're combined. Okay? Now, what you'll see lots of times, and I want everyone to get your workbooks out right now. We're kind of going to skip back and forth. And this is mostly so there's less writing when we do this. Okay. What we're going to have here is we're going to say they're going to say use the following statements to write a compound statement for each conjunction or disjunction, then find its truth value. Okay? Well, I just want to focus on these top three right now. 5 and 6 we have not talked about yet. What are they doing here? P and Q. We need to write this compound statement. What do you think? What's P? What do they have up there? What do they say P is? Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? That's weird looking the way all this is. But it's really simple. It's saying, okay, whatever P is, plug it in there. Right? Just happens to be kind of a weird thing. So to say this, I would say negative 3 minus 2 is equal to negative 5. And what? What's Q? Vertical angles are what? Congruent. I've written the compound statement. Well, then they say, is this a conjunction or a disjunction? Conjunction. Now, let's talk about its truth value. It's simple. I have to say, is this true or false? Is negative 3 minus 2, is that equal to negative 5? Is that true or false? True. Vertical angles are congruent. Is that true? Huh? When two lines intersect, what are the opposite angles called? Vertical angles. What are they always? Congruent. So is this true? Okay, so I've got true and true. What about the whole statement? The entire statement is what then? Did both happen? Did the first part and the second part happen? Just like taking out the trash and cleaning the kitchen, right? This happened true, this happened true, so the whole thing is what? That's its truth value. See how we're doing that? Next one, P and I have to remember that that's a what? And, right? So what's P? Negative 3 minus 2 is equal to what? And then I would write what? And what's R? Okay, that's my compound statement, is it not? We got to look at each statement, see what's true. Is it true that negative 3 minus 2 is equal to negative 5? That is true. Is it true that 2 plus 8 is greater than 10? It's not, is it? So that's false. So, what is the truth value here of my statement? If I had said or, would this be true? But I didn't. I said what? So what has to be true? The first part and the... So, what's my truth value here? Because both have to be true. How are we there, okay? Let's jump down to number 4 and skip 3. Number 4 says, R, or what? Or. So R is what? 2 plus 8 is greater than 10. Or what? What's S? Sum of complementary angles is 90 degrees. Okay, is this true? Is 2 plus 8 greater than 10? Huh? No, so that's what? Is this true? The sum of the measures of complementary angles is 90. Is that true? Yes, that's the definition of them, right? So, what's the key word here? Or. What is the truth value of this statement? True, because only one has to happen. Make sense? Now we get down here to 5, and what throws you off here? What looks weird? A little squiggly line. What that is called is a negation. Not. When I read that, I say the word not. The negative of whatever you want to think of. The opposite. So what do you think the negation is of I am going to take out the trash is? I'm not going to go take out the trash. What do you think is the opposite of I am not going to do my homework? What's the negation of that? Huh? I will do my homework. So, other than the symbol, it's not a hard concept, is it? You see what I mean? And it's just the... So back to this, that just looks weird, right? Now, what can get a little confusing sometimes is figure out what would be the opposite. On some of these it'll be easy, and some of them it won't. For this one, P and not Q. So what would I say? Negative 3 minus what? 2 is equal to what? Negative 5. And not Q. Well, what is Q? Vertical angles are congruent. What would be the opposite of that? Not congruent. I want you to think about something. We already established that that Q was true. That statement, vertical angles are congruent, right? Do you think there's a chance that the negation of that, the opposite of it, is true? So if you think a statement is true, the negation of it is always probably going to be what? And you're exactly right. So this is false. The first part is still true. So what is the truth value here? Because we had and. Let's jump down to 6, because this will be kind of one of those weird ones to write. First of all, Q says vertical angles are congruent, or, and then we're not are. What is, we have 2 plus 8, and then is greater than, everybody look up here for a second. I'll let you write for a second. If 2 plus 8 is greater than 10 is this statement, what is the opposite or the negation of that? What you have to, basically on any equation or inequality, you have to do the exact opposite of your operation here. Because your operation is your verb, what's happening. Okay? So, if 2 plus 8 is greater than 10, what's the opposite of being greater than something? Absolutely right. Less than 10. Now, what would it be less than or equal to? We have to include the equal to. Here's why. We have to include everything it's not. Does that make sense? In this sign, you can either say equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or less than and equal to. Between a negation and a, between the two, you have to have everything in play. Does that make sense? You have to mention everything. And if we just put less than, what would I not be including? Equal, right? I'd be leaving one instance out. See, and plus what happened is my previous statement wouldn't work. This would be false too, because see, the first statement's false, right? So what does this statement have to be? And if I didn't have equal, then it wouldn't be true, would it? But this is true. This is still true, so your truth value, true. So that was a good example because, like I said, the negation can be an easy thing to write down or sometimes make you think a little bit, huh? Even make the teacher think. Less than wouldn't work because it's not everything, this one isn't. You have to include the equal to. If you want to look at it on a number line, if you talk about the numbers greater than 10, and this is 10, you're talking about all those numbers, aren't you? All those numbers greater than 10 right here. Does that make sense? The opposite of that would be everything that you didn't include in that one, which would be what? 10 and what? All of them less than. Make sense? Any questions on that? Truth tables, believe it, we're not going to, these aren't on the EOI, so we're not going to get into them, but we have a couple of them on your homework, and they're kind of fun to do. PQ. What did I tell you? The negation is always opposite, right? So this is easy to fill this out. Okay, if Q is true, what's the not got to be? Okay, if Q is false, what's the not got to be? Make sense? That's for P. Yeah, I misread that. I got dyslexic for a second. Okay, let's look here. P, opposite of not P, false. Here P is true, so what's this? Here P is false, so what's this? Here P is false, so what's this? True. Then just go each instance by instance. Okay, you've got and here, so what has to happen? Both have to be what? True for it to be true. So you've got not P, which is right here, and Q. You have a true and a what? So what's this got to be? Because they both have to be true, right? Not P in this case. Not P is false. Right now I could just come over here and say what? Even if Q is true, but it ends up being false. Here you got false, false, so it's false. Not P. What is it? Not P is true. And Q is what? If you have true, true, what is it? True. Not P is what here in this case? True. What is Q? Makes it false. Then the negation, the reason they have parentheses, they're saying negation of this whole thing. So whatever this is the opposite. So this would be true, true, false, true. Okay, last thing. Venn diagram. How many have heard of Venn diagrams before? Okay, that's good. You probably did in some other classes. They usually look like this, right? Baseball, soccer, and football players. Number of baseball and soccer players, how many? Here's the thing. The reason, this is one of those ones where you have to kind of, your first thought is going to be to, and means to combine, right? But I'm not asking you to add here, I'm asking a logic statement. I'm asking the number of players that are baseball players and soccer players. You see what I mean? So they have to be what? Both. So what I have to do is look at right here and here. Is this where this circle and this circle intersect? Right in here? Would you guys agree with that? There's 0 in here and 0 in here. So how many players, guys, play baseball and soccer? 0. There are none. Which is a common thing because the sports happen right at the same time, don't they? At a big school like this, that number's always going to be 0. Most of the time. How about the number of football and soccer players? There's our football players, correct? Where are our soccer players? Everybody inside of what circle? This circle right here, correct? At what point are they in both circles? Right in here, right? How many players are in there? So there's your answer. How about the number of players that play baseball and football? All right. When you look at this one right here are the baseball players. So right in here where these two intersect is the ones that play both. So, what's the answer here? 1. Now let's see if you guys will think here. What's the difference? Or, right? So what do I have to do? Baseball or football players? What do I have to do?
Add the two together except for the middle.
No, you have to include the middle. But you can't, what you can't do is you can't count these how many times? Twice. There are 3 baseball players that basically just play baseball, right? There's 1 that plays football too, right? As far as football players, there are 5 that just play football, correct? We already got the one that plays baseball. What's the only one left? We have the 2 that also play what? Soccer. Those are a total of basically all the guys who play what? Either this or, so how many is that? Huh? 11. Make sense? See, it was 1 through 31? Okay. Your assignment. This will be a lot of writing. Oh. Write what R, P, Q's, and S's are equal to. In other words, when you do this, which ones? When you do ones like these, I want to see this on your paper. Does that make sense? So I know which is which. You don't have to do it once if you know there's 10 problems for that. Okay?